It depends on what kind of tool do you use. I claim I can give you the cheapest solution. There are three basic key elements in changing a spark plug. One is the special socket. The second, you may have to use the gauge. The third is your wrench set. So let's first discuss the socket. There are two kind of socket. One is the special socket, has rubber inside, and one is the regular socket. And look at the difference. The regular socket, you lock it on, you leave, this will drop. And the special socket, you push it in, it will stay. So the special socket is used for pulling the spark plug out. There are quite a few different issues here. The first is, so if you do have a special socket, it's very good to use it to pull spark plug out. But when you install a new one, if the rubber is too tight, you end up disconnect at the wrong point. See, if you have a wrench, you want to pull it, you want to pull on this side. So you want the socket to come out. But if the rubber is too tight and you end up disconnecting on the wrong place, the socket itself will stay there. It's hard to get it out. So my solution is I pull this spark plug out with special socket, and when I install the new one, I use the regular socket. Regular socket doesn't have a rubber, so it's easy to come off. But if you don't have a special socket, what do you do? I will show you there are two ways to work around. The first way is you just have a regular socket. And I have some packaging material, and this is not a styrofoam. It's a little bit softer than the styrofoam. You can cut easily with a scissor. See, very easy. You can cut it to a round corner easily. So I cut something like this, a little bit longer than this one. So I push it in. And then I use a screwdriver to make a hole here. So now it's all in. And I will try with the spark plug. This will snap in. See, this will hold the spark plug to come out. But one thing you have to be careful, do not want this to drop in the engine. Therefore, I use a tape, just cover this on the top. Just tape this. And then I punch a hole. And then I try with the spark plug. This will function as a rubber. So this will hold. In order to do this, you have to lose all the spark plugs without the packing material using the regular wrench. And then you put this in and take all 4 or 6 spark plug out. Alternatively, if you have a magnetic device, you can fish this out. See, it's easily. You can put this in, just fish this out. You can get this called a magnetic retrieval device from Home Depot or any other hardware store. This is a solid kind. You can also use the kind called a flexible. This end is a cable, other end is a magnetic tip. So that's another way you can work around for the socket. I'm showing you with a magnetic fisher. I can fish this out of the engine, and this is the socket set I have. I'm trying to see whether I can get this spark plug out. See, it can be fished out. It depends on your profession. If you are in the medical field, you can use some kind of plier and get the spark plug out. Or if you are in the plumbing business, you can try to find a pipe that is just right size. This is a 1/2-inch pipe. This is too small. And this 3/4 will be too big. If you have a regular garden hose, and it's too big. But I found irrigation. This is a small one. This one will just fit. See, this will just fit the spark plug. You should wrap this one with some kind of a tape so you can center it when you use it. So look around your house to see what you have. The second question is the gap. It's very important for the low-end regular spark plug. There are two solutions to not have a gap. One is when you order the spark plugs, you can tell them I want a pre-gapped. They will do that for you. Or you can get spark plug like this. It doesn't need a gapping. It's more expensive, but more expensive will last longer and also maybe give you a better gas mileage. The last is the wrench set. Some tools have a universal joint. I got this from Sears. All the cars I worked on, at least one of the cylinder is very hard to work with. I'm showing a solution with only 2 pieces, and it's about this height. And I will drop this to the engine first, and then have this piece and press this to latch it on. When I take it out, because you don't have enough space here, therefore I will try to with 2-handed brake at the middle and take this out, and second to take the remaining socket out. This way I don't have to invest in a more complicated socket wrench extension set. See, engine service zone, the code is P030. That means the 3rd cylinder misfire. I cleared it and came back. You could have many different problems. The easiest and the cheapest is to replace the spark plug. If it doesn't work, we replace the spark plug cable. If you still have a problem, we'll trace all the system and resolve the problem. But the cheapest and easiest is to replace the spark plug. I changed spark plug one at a time so I know which, but if you forget, they have a mark. See, there's a number 2 here. From the passenger side, this is cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 of them. If you want to do all of them at the same time, you make sure you remember the ordering. You need a spark plug, a special socket for the spark plug. I got a Sears universal joint because it was harder to reach the spark plug. You also need a gauge. Here I'm showing 2 different sockets. One is special kind for the spark plug. It has a rubber inside. If you plug in the spark plug, because the rubber will hold it, it will be pretty snag. But the problem is sometimes this is too tight. When you have a wrench connect like this, it will disconnect at this point. So I use 2 sockets. One is the regular socket without this rubber. When I take the old one out, I use the special tool with the rubber because this will grab the old spark plug out. But when I install a new one, I use the regular one, so it will just, I drop in, I just tight, and this will disconnect easily. This is pretty hard to get to. Sometimes if you can get a universal joint like this, it may help you. But in my case, I only have a 2 section. One is the longer one is shorter one, and it will not go in like this. So what I will do, I just drop this first in, and then I will have this second. Once this is settled in, I will have my wrench like this. Here I need to disconnect this longer extension and take this out because this is not bendable. So I take this out, and then I take the spark plug out. And look at the spark plug. So this is a kind you don't need to adjust. It's a more expensive kind. And I'm showing you this one. It's the cheaper one, just a copper. I just want to show you how this is done. The copper one, you need to adjust. The store that sold me told me the gap. So this is a gap. You just put this in so that it's a proper gap. If it's too tight or too large, you need to just adjust the gap like this. The 2 kind of spark plug, this is more expensive, supposedly saves you gas, and this is a regular one, it's a copper. It probably will last 10,000 or 20,000, and this may last 30 or more. When I have the new plug in, it has quite a few threads. You first need to tighten this with hand, like this. See, I'm tightening with the hand. I'm turning quarter round each time, and I counted it. It's around 30 times. So be patient. You have to turn many times. Make sure you use hand to tie at the beginning. This is because you really don't want to lose the thread. If you use a some wrench, you may lose the thread. So make sure you use hand to tie. After it's hand tied, you need to just use the wrench to tie to make it more secure, but don't break the thread.